Hello, Facebook, family, friends, and everybody in between. I know I don't usually come to you in video form, but there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about, and as much as I hate making videos, I know that they get a whole lot more traction to help get your message across a little bit clearer. So before we dig into this conversation, I want to make it perfectly clear that these are my opinions. They are my thoughts. They do not reflect or represent anyone or anything or any other organization except for myself. So I wanted to make sure that that was perfectly clear. If you've talked to me over the past week, several days, then we've probably already touched on this topic at some point. I've answered lots of phone calls, text messages, emails in recent days. A lot of that is due to the fact that I have been a chamber ambassador for several years. We've been an active chamber member since 2018, officially became an ambassador in 2020, and have served ever since. Part of that service includes donations, volunteer hours, giving of time and effort and everything else, which is something that I've gladly done, because I'm a firm believer in helping to improve the community that we live in helping to improve visibility for people, and I think that it's super important for young LGBTQ people to see people that look like themselves in leadership positions and in roles within their community. Earlier this week, an organization that's near and dear to my heart had put in an application to be part of the Cookeville Christmas Parade, which is sponsored by the Cookeville-Putnam County Chamber of Commerce. After they had placed their application, they found out rather late that their application was not approved. A couple different reasons flew around, but ultimately it was based on the safety and security of the parade participants as well as the spectators that were going to enjoy the parade. That decision was definitely met with some disappointment and opposition from several different people, but for me personally, it hurt my heart just because I, again, understand the importance of having visible representation within your community, and that's what this is. It's a Christmas community parade. I've heard lots of arguments from people that said it's a Christmas parade. It's not something that Upper Cumberland Pride should be concerned with being a participant in, that there's no merit or cost to that. And I'm here to tell you that as a member of the LGBTQ community, that it is important, not so much for myself, because I am confident in myself and who I am and what I do, but for a young person who struggles, that doesn't understand themselves, that doesn't believe that they are worthy, that might be contemplating whether or not they belong. It's super important for them to see that there is a support group, that there are people in their community that look like them, that share the same values that they do. We do have values, and that are here to help support them with whatever they might need. If it's somebody to talk to, if it's just somebody to listen, if it's to help point them in the direction of resources. I just can't express how important the Upper Cumberland Pride organization is, especially in a rural community like Cookeville, because we are still a rural community. Upper Cumberland Pride is the only organization of its kind within about a 100-mile radius of us. They serve the Upper Cumberland 14 counties, as well as help provide support to some of the smaller counties outside of that reach as well. because the next closest resource that you would find would be somewhere in Nashville, Knoxville, or Chattanooga. I talked with several people, and I understand that it was a decision made by committee members that was supported by the board, that was ultimately executed by the staff. And while I know in my heart that I have never felt anything except love and support from everyone that I've encountered, whether it be a chamber member, a board member, a chamber staff individual, I can definitely say that that support does not outweigh this decision, because it's not just about one person or a small group of people. It's about all of us as a whole. And again, really wanting to make the impact that Upper Cumberland Pride does in our community. So if you've listened to me talk about the impact that community has on LGBTQ youth, then you know that it's something that I am passionate about, that I do find great importance in, and again, that is due to the fact that I've talked to these people, and I know the difference of what it makes for them to have acceptance within their community, on their personal lives and their well-being. So I'm going to share a couple statistics with you, and I pulled all these from the Trevor Project, the GLAD website, and a few other LGBTQ resources. Many LGBTQ youth lack access to affirming spaces, with only 55% of youth reporting that their school is affirming, only 37% saying that their home is affirming. Fewer than 1 in 3 transgender and non-binary youth found their home to be gender affirming, and more than half found their school to be affirming. Research consistently proves that LGBTQ youth report lower rates of attempting suicide when they have access to LGBTQ affirming spaces. As a firm believer in the good in all people, I would encourage you to consider this, assuming that we are all concerned with the safety and well-being of all children and everyone. Having at least one accepting adult in their life can reduce the risk of a suicide attempt among LGBTQ youth by 40%. Youth who felt high social support from their family reported attempting suicide at less than half than the rate of those who felt low or moderate support. LGBTQ youth who live in a community that is accepting of LGBTQ people reported significantly lower rates of attempting suicide than those who do not. These statistics aren't meant to make you feel bad or anything similar to that. They are simply to make you aware that young people already struggle with so much, and if their community, if the people that they see in their lives are not affirming and they don't have anyone else to look up to reach out to if they need help, then suicide is the most likely option, as it is still the second leading cause of death in young people under the age of 25. Why Upper Cumberland Pride is so important is that besides a fantastic festival that they put on in the summer, they also provide year-round resources. So if an individual reaches out to them, again, if they need someone to talk to, they just need someone to listen, if they need a referral to counseling services, if they need help with a school application, if they need help with clothing, finding housing, finding a job, those are all resources that are provided by the Upper Cumberland Pride Association. So by allowing them to participate in a Christmas parade for the community, then they are letting people know that might not know otherwise, that might not have access to their information that there is in fact someone in the community that cares about them, that wants them to succeed, and that are here for them if there's something that we can help them with. Again, I've talked with several people, and I understand that it's a tough decision for some of them, because there are still several people that would prefer that we not be around, that maybe we not be involved, that we not be visible and present. In addition to those, I'm certain that there are people that are fine with our existence, that certainly don't mind when I help volunteer for an event, whenever I help bartend and serve them drinks, whenever I sponsor a program or provide food or beverages or whatever it is. I don't think that they particularly mind me, but they're not accepting of the entire community. And again, there is no acceptance for all of us unless there is acceptance for all of us. So it can't be some and not the rest. We are all part of the same community. We all live here. We all make an impact on our own different levels, for what we're comfortable with, for what we're capable of, and all of those deserve to be celebrated just as equally as the next. I will say that I am super proud to know the people that are the brains and the hands working on Upper Cumberland Pride, and super proud of a really dignified response to a really unfortunate decision that was made. They let everyone know that while they were disappointed, that they would, of course, continue to support their community, which I think says a lot about our community, about the LGBTQ community, that even when we continue to be shunned or pushed aside or told that maybe we appreciate you, but we're still not going to allow you to participate in that kind of fashion, that we are still willing to put that aside and support the community and the place we call home. I just can't express the volumes that I think that speaks about the quality of the character of people that I'm proud to call my allies and my friends within the community. Again, I know these decisions are tough. I know that they are not made from a single thought or even a single person, but if you took the time to listen to this and make it this far, thank you. I would ask you to use your voice to take the opportunity to help advocate and educate what it is that the LGBTQ members of this community, as well as Upper Cumberland Pride, how and where they make an impact, and why that's so important, and why it's so important to have that visibility and representation within the community. It wasn't something I mentioned earlier, but I also think it's an important point that homosexuality and the LGBT community and Christianity are not two mutually exclusive entities. I myself still consider myself to be a Christian, as well as several people that I know within the community. We still have a close relationship with God. We still have a fierce love for the Bible and its teachings, and what that means to be a Christian and walk that journey with God. So I know I've kept you for a long time, and I don't want to ramble on forever, but again, I just wanted to share my thoughts and take a moment to share my disappointment, but also my encouragement, because I think it's important to know that while we may be disappointed with the outcome, we're still not discouraged. We're still here to help and serve in our community, that we're still here to make an impact and be that example for other people in our community that really need to be uplifted, and see those LGBTQ individuals serve and be in those positions in our community. I would ask that if you made it this far again, that you would take away, if nothing else, the importance and the impact of Upper Cumberland Pride in the Upper Cumberland community. I would ask that you would visit their website, that's ucpride.org, that you would consider making a donation, whether it be financially, whether it be with your time and resources, to become a partner, to be a sponsor with some of their fundraising and their events, so that they can continue to be the light and shine for those that really need it in our community. So thank you again, and Merry Christmas.